Hello, hello, hello. What ho? Welcome back to another exciting adventure of. It's like an offshoot of Mustachioed Reactions dealing with some of my favorite movies and whatnot. So, this is going to be a meta spoiler. Okay, so this is a spoiler alert for the movie Waking Life if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it and you don't want a spoiler, stop watching. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, this movie that Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy are in was made in I think 1994 or 96, something like that, and it was written and directed by Richard Linklater. Richard Linklater then later made another movie in 2001 called Waking Life. And in Waking Life, there is a scene with Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke calling back to this scene and another scene that I need to get lined up as well. Anyway, so if you didn't know anything about this movie and you watched Waking Life, you would just think, oh, I think that's Ethan Hawke, it looks like him. It would have just been a scene. You would have no context for it. But there's this very bizarre meta-narrative philosophical discussion that follows from this movie, which is real life, quote unquote, to Waking Life, which wasn't. So what am I going to do? What I'm going to do is play the Waking Life clip, which is the meta-narrative callback, and then I'm going to play the original scenes from Before Sunrise.
I keep thinking about something you said.
Something I said?
Yeah. About how you often feel like you're observing your life from the perspective of an old woman about to die. Do you remember that?
It fascinates me how a single place can join so much pain and happiness for so many generations.
You're close with your grandmother.
Yeah. I think it's because I always have this strange feeling that I'm this very old woman laying down about to die. You know, that my life is just her memories or something.
You remember that?
Yeah. I still feel that way sometimes. Like I'm looking back on my life. Like my waking life is her memories. Yeah. I've been thinking also about something you said.
What's that?
Just about reincarnation and where all the new souls come from over time.
Okay, all right. Do you believe in reincarnation?
Yeah.
Right.
It's interesting.
Most people, a lot of people talk about past lives and things like that, and even if they don't believe it in some specific way, people have some kind of notion of an eternal soul, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this was my thought. 50,000 years ago, there are not even 1 million people on the planet. 10,000 years ago, there's like 2 million people on the planet. Now, there's between 5 and 6 billion people on the planet, right? Now, if we all have our own, individual, unique soul, right, where do they all come from? Are modern souls only a fraction of the original souls? Because if they are, that represents a 5,000 to 1 split of each soul in just the last 50,000 years, which is like a blip in the Earth's time. So at best, we're like these tiny fractions of people, walking. Is that why we're all so scattered? Is that why we're all so specialized?
Wait a minute, I'm not sure. Everybody always say that they've been the reincarnation of Cleopatra or Alexander the Great. I always want to tell them they were probably some dumb fuck like everybody else. It's impossible. Think about it. The world population has doubled in the past 40 years, right? So if you really believe in that ego thing of one eternal soul, then you have only 50% chance of your soul being over 40. And for it to be over 150 years old, then it's only 1 out of 6.
Right, so what are you saying? That reincarnation doesn't exist? Or that we're all young souls? Like half of us are first-round humans?
No.
What do you...
No, what I'm trying to say is that...
What's your point?
Somehow I believe reincarnation is just a poetic expression of what collective memory really is. There was this article by this biochemist that
Right.
I read not long ago, and he was talking about how when a member of a species is born, it has 1 billion years of memory to draw on. And this is where we inherit our instincts.
I like that. It's like there's this whole telepathic thing going on that we're all a part of, whether we're conscious of it or not. I mean, that would explain why there's all these, seemingly spontaneous worldwide innovative leaps in science and the arts, like the same results popping up everywhere, independent of each other. Some guy on a computer, he figures something out, and then almost simultaneously, a bunch of other people all over the world figure out the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They did this study. They isolated a group of people over time, and they, monitored their abilities at crossword puzzles,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in relation to the general population. And then they secretly gave them a day-old crossword, one that had already been answered by thousands of other people, right? And their scores went up dramatically, like 20%. So it's like once the answers are out there, people can pick up on them. It's like we're all telepathically sharing our experiences.